Hello and welcome back to the Film Custodian Show here on the Filmist Universe YouTube channel. And real quick, we're just going to talk about The Mandalorian Season 3, episodes 2, 3, and 4. Just real quick kind of summary, just kind of my thoughts and whatnot. There's sort of a major problem with The Mandalorian as it sits right now. So at the end of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, Din Djarin completed his mission. He got Grogu to the Jedi. You know, Luke takes him away, and there you go, mission complete. And then you have the Book of Boba Fett, and you have the last episodes of that, episode 5, 6, and 7, really talk about what happened during that time. And you see Grogu doing his training with Luke Skywalker, and then you see, you know, it's like, well, you got to make a choice. Are you going to stay here and train with me, or are you going to go off with Mando? And so what are you going to choose? You're going to choose the lightsaber, you're going to choose the armor. Ultimately, we know Grogu chooses to go back with the Mandalorian, and then so you're going to get episode 3. But now with episode 3, it's like there's nothing left. I mean, what we have is, well, I took my helmet off. It's like, you took your helmet off, so now you got to go bathe in the waters below Mandalore. And okay, so he did that in episode 2, so now that's done. So then, but we were kind of, so that's done too now. So what else is there? Well, a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of plot. I mean, in episode 3, completely focuses on this doctor character we haven't seen since, I think, season 1. I thought it was a pretty good episode, but in the end, it's a completely separate plot. It has to do with cloning. It has to do with making the New Republic look terrible, which I'm not a huge fan of. You know, I mean, Star Wars, at least in the films, is always clear, cut, and dry. You know, it's black and white. It's good guys and bad guys. It was always supposed to be simple. I get it, with TV shows, you have to get a little bit more complicated, or you can. I mean, look at Andor, you know, which is a proper TV show where the characters are set up with motivations, and the story has multiple layers, multiple plots going on. It's a TV show. This, The Mandalorian, was always about being simple, right? There's a monster, we have to go kill the monster. I mean, and that's what episode 4 is. That's episode 4, and I thought that was pretty good, and that was pretty interesting. There's a dragon that basically comes down and picks up one of the kids, and they're like, well, we got to go rescue the kid and whatnot. And then there's a bunch of just annoying stuff with the, I mean, how many times can we watch the armorer? Well, and the Mandalorian, and the mythology, and the Mandalorian mythology is kind of stupid, to be honest. It's really starting to get annoying. And I guess they are extremists, you know. They're sort of, you know, we're going back to the old ways. This is the way. This is the way. How many times can I hear that? I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, it's really getting annoying. It's not that interesting. What was interesting was the big monster way down at the bottom of Mandalore down there. You know, that maybe the myths are true. Maybe there is some sort of, you know, validity. It's all this religious stuff that we have going on. And even though it's kind of annoying to me, that part was interesting. But it's like, so, but anyway, yeah, back to the Doctor. Back to the Doctor in episode 3. He's ultimately betrayed by this woman that looks like just a weird dude guy. And you have, it felt off because it's not about the Mandalorian, it's about future stuff. Ultimately, this is going to bridge the gap between episode 6 and episode 7, that 30-year gap, where we eventually end up, you know, going to the sequel trilogy, which I'm not thrilled about because I don't care. I don't care about Snoke or any of that crap over there. So I think that's one of the core problems of The Mandalorian Season 3 is that we're simply lacking any kind of direction or any kind of, well, any kind of story. Because, you know, Din Djarin completed his quest in Season 2, got Grogu off to the Jedi, off to Luke Skywalker to train. And then I mean, a lot of people have been, you know, like, and then Disney went, oh shit, what have we done? You know, we need to bring Grogu back. It's like, yeah, well, I think that was always in the plan. Because as you can see in the Book of Boba Fett, Grogu shows up with the Mandalorian. And so the Mandalorian is kind of on a quest to train more. And then ultimately, you know, his quest changes, right? To ultimately, well, now I need to go and bathe in the mines of Mandalore and become a true Mandalorian again, according to this particular extremist sect where they're very religious about everything and all that kind of stuff. And then you have Grogu who has to decide if he's going to go with the Mandalorian. Well, we conclude that. Grogu goes back off with Din Djarin at the end of the Book of Boba Fett. And then you get season 3, and the story is concluded in season 2. Din Djarin's story is concluded that he did bathe in the waters. He's a Mandalorian again, hooray! And then and then episode 3, we go off, like I was saying, with the Doctor and the mad scientist Doctor. And that was kind of neat. It was interesting to see the New Republic and whatnot, but I don't like the implications where, so the New Republic was, like, now they're arrogant and now they're full of, corruptness and whatnot, and they're actually not good guys. They're just kind of a replacement empire, but they're not as bad as the Empire, but they still have to maintain control. There's less of them, and they have to control a galaxy that's just come out of the Empire. The Empire was in control for 20 odd years. And so they have to be very strict to keep law and order, but I get all that, but then they kind of still make them seem like they're somewhat evil. I think all as an excuse so that they can say, well, see, that's why the First Order was able to form. Way off at at the edge of the galaxy, because the New Republic was just arrogant. Like, like they even have the one couple come up and Rebels, Empire, who could tell anymore? It's like, come on. Good guys, bad guys, dark side, light side, Jedi, Sith. That's Star Wars, okay? Like I've said a million times, though, yes, you do need to get kind of complicated. You could add some more layers because it's a TV show and you can explore the grayer areas, fine. But it just doesn't feel right in The Mandalorian. It doesn't feel right that you're making the New Republic now. Like, is everybody garbage in the Star Wars universe? I mean, I guess so. Because it kind of falls in line, too, with, the Rebels and Luke Skywalker and everybody defeat the Empire, and now they're all assholes. It's like, what? Why? Like that's one of the things that people hate about The Last Jedi so much is that Luke is now just embittered and, because he was arrogant, he became arrogant and, I'm the best and I'm wonderful. And it's like, it just doesn't really work. You can explore gray areas in video games and the books and stuff like that because it's just a different medium. But like, it just doesn't really work. I mean, it doesn't work here. It works wonderfully in Andor, where you're getting more complicated in the gray areas because you're dealing with soldiers on the ground. You're dealing with Andor and moral complexities and choices and stuff like that. That's a proper TV show. That's Andor. This is just simple. There's a monster. Let's go kill the monster. But then now you're getting into the nitty gritty and deep into politics and stuff in episode 3. It just felt out of place. All that to say. It felt out of place. If all this in season 3 had a clear-cut direction and with an end game in mind, and maybe it does, I don't know, but so far it doesn't feel like it. It's just kind of stuff happening. Just stuff happening because now you've got Bo-Katan coming in and now she's starting to become more religious and into this type of more extremist version of the Mandalorians. And then, because she doesn't have anybody else, so she's like, man, maybe I found a new family. Who knows? So it's like you've got her, you've got Grogu kind of training, and it just, I don't know where it's all going. We're halfway through the season, and it's just, season 3 is just kind of a mess so far. I mean, if you could take an individual episode out, I enjoy it. I enjoyed episode 1, and a lot of people didn't like that, but I enjoyed that one. But yeah, we're kind of just it's getting messy. It's getting messy, and I think The Mandalorian is kind of, it's lost its direction, losing direction, and I don't know if it's going to recover. I got no problem with, like the Monster of the Week type of situation where, there's a single problem that we can solve in a half hour or 20 minutes and then we're good, then we're done. We don't need to get too complicated. Like, leave the politicking and the complicated stuff with crazy doctors that are cloning things. Leave that in Andor. Throw that back over at Andor. Or even in even in the cartoons handled that kind of stuff really well. The gray areas, the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch Rebels, because you can. You have it's long form storytelling. You can do that. You can do that. So you should be able to do that in The Mandalorian. But The Mandalorian started off very much like the movies, which is clear cut, good guys and bad guys, and you're getting too complicated with not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go that deep into things. And you don't have to make the New Republic look stupid. I don't know. It's just kind of annoying. It's just everybody's actually crap. It's like where does that end? I mean, why does that have to constantly be a thing? You know, everything doesn't have to be Game of Thrones, where everyone is secretly a villain, you know, or everyone is actually pretty shit. And, you know, it's like, okay. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me, I guess. So, okay. Well, I guess that's all I got to say about that. This is The Mandalorian Season 3, and so far I'm not all that impressed, which is a shame because the first 2 seasons were pretty great. Season 2 was phenomenal, I think. And so, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of it goes. Check out my other videos. See you later. Bye.